Hi, friends. Welcome to day 4, A Lawyer's Insights from Federal Prison. So today I want to talk about what it's like to be transported when you're in the system. So remember, I've already said that I was 051211104. So that was my inmate number. And when you're in the system, to me, the scariest days, honestly, were the day I surrendered and the 3 days I got transported. Because when you're in the transport process, you're not under the Bureau of Prisons purview, you're now under the U.S. Marshals. And the U.S. Marshals, though I respect what they're doing, honestly, in the day to day, the way I experienced it was a lack of empathy, a lack of emotion, and basically, I was a number, right? I was a thing, right? I wasn't seen as a human, and that was really hard because the way it worked for me is the first time I had to get transported. I had spent 10 days in Miami's Federal Detention Center, which I've described to you in an earlier video. And then after 10 days, at about 10 o'clock at night, one of the guards came in and read off a list of who was being transported that night. Now, the reason why they read off a list at 10 versus earlier in the evening is right before that, and I forgot the exact time, but there was a time where there's a cutoff of phone calls and emails. And so they wait till the cutoff of when we as inmates could email or phone call friends or family because they don't want any of us to be able to tell family or friends that we're going to be transported. The logic behind this is to avoid anybody from telling somebody like a friend or family that they're going to be transported and then possibly somebody trying to come and like intervene and trap or block and get them, to escape, like basically to avoid breakouts, prison breakouts. So 10 o'clock, there's a list that comes out. I get told I'm being transported. I get told I have to bring all of the stuff that I had bought in the last 10 days from commissary, but you're only allowed to take with you things that have not been opened. So whatever toiletries I had opened and whatever food I had opened, I distributed to friends that were there. And then I took everything else and they pack it up and then, you put your name on it and they say, okay, this is being shipped to wherever you're going. And then we had to go back up to our room and then we had to wait. So then it was like 12, just past midnight, where we got a knock on the door. The guard came and my bunkie's name, my bunkie's name, I guess in this place was called a bunk or a room. Her name was Lucy. And so Lucy and I both actually were being transported. So we go down and essentially they strip us. We had to wear paper clothing and rubber shoes. We got handcuffed and shackled with waist chains. And then there were about 20 of us. We were all piled onto a bus. So you guys have heard of Con Air. This is like Con Bus. So we get on the bus and we're handcuffed and shackled and we're headed north. So I'm now being transported to Coleman, which is about an hour north of Orlando. And we're headed north. And the moment that really hit me was as we were headed north, there was, I had just spent 10 days at FDC in Miami with no fresh air, no sunlight. And Rashmi means the rays of the morning sun. So suns are spiritual for me. And so I really was dying to see the sun. Like I try to see the sunrise whenever I can. So as we're driving north, 3 hours later, it's like, because we didn't start driving until like 3 in the morning, it's now 6:30 in the morning. And I look to the right and the sun begins to rise and I start crying. And it's not that I was crying out of fear or pain. I was crying tears of gratitude because here I am sitting on a bus in handcuffs and shackles, but yet crying because I was so grateful. And I could think in my mind, I knew that my kids were safe and they were loved. I knew I was going to now a minimum security camp where I would get to see the sun every day, where I would have outdoor fresh air. And that was everything to me. So the learning that I got from this in that moment was like, wow, in every moment, no matter how hard it feels, no matter when life brings us down to our knees, if we can try to pause and go within and try to find some moment, something of gratitude, it helps us, it helps our mindset, it helps us completely reframe the moment and then keep moving forward. Because guys, we all go through something, right? Like there's so much pain that we've all experienced in different ways and fears. I have gone through my share, but I always keep reminding myself of the good in my life and the gratitude that I have for them. So thank you for listening. Thank you for all of you that are subscribing. I'm super thrilled at the traction that I'm getting, that people are enjoying these stories. So keep listening. I'm going to keep doing this every day for a couple more, like 11 more days. Um, subscribe, share with your friends, and more tomorrow. Thanks.